Hello, everybody. Um, Let me put my earbuds in. Chris G. Marker here. Barker. Renee Barker, Psychic Soul Senses. Um, I ran across some cool stuff on the internet, and I'm not gonna tell you where I got it from. It's just good stuff. I want to read some of it to you to help you understand why I think the way I do about people that are in control, or why the control grid was created to begin with, which was to fool us, to dupe us, to con us out of our rights. Religion was invented to con us out of our rights. They have totally taken away the truth about God, so people are confused. It was on purpose. You were trained to worship something outside of you so that you get used to worshiping a cop or something that's above you. That was all done on purpose. Teachers, doctors, etc., etc., lawyers. But, so I'm going to start out, and it's about God. It explains about God. Now, I was raised Catholic. This is a different perspective. It's not a big deal. Just be open-minded. If you don't believe it, then put it in the category of sci-fi, because it could fall on that. So, God. The use of the word or term God is hereby defined to not be misconstrued as a personage or entity in representation of the Godhead. The Godhead, see, people misunderstand interpretations of words all the time. The Godhead is your prayer mode, your feelings, what you stir up inside you is called the Godhead when you pray. As the term is commonly used with organized religions, the spread of NAA-sourced violent religions on earth is a consciousness enslavement tool to give up personal sovereignty by worshiping external entities, thereby confusing humanity to misinterpret the source of God within as being an external person, entity, alien, or another world, or from another world. So it explains basically what I've been saying for a while to my friends and my peers, but that God is an internal source. He's in here, so it's in here. But where you're taught to think that Sky Daddy's going to pop out, you're expecting that, and it teaches you to go outside of yourself for answers and things. So, anyways. Confusing humanity to misinterpret the source of God within as being an eternal person. We already read that. The external, infinite, or divine source of God can only be found deeply within the self, the inner spiritual source that is referred to as the inner Christ, that is dedicated to the pursuit of truth. In comprehending the proper context for the use of the word God and begin to explore its deeper meaning, it is to dedicate oneself to the pursuit of truth in all matters of life, to develop purity of the heart and purity of the mind through dedicated self-inquiry, to pursue truth beyond all fear. Thus, truth seekers are sacred in universal law and are supremely protected. Okay, so it says other words to use as God is like external, eternal spiritual being, eternal living light, center point of all union, I like to call source. That's just what I think, source. But I think that was even hijacked. So, okay, there's more. It goes on. The Law of One. I don't know if anybody's heard about the Law of One. Maybe if you watch like history or the History Channel, like Ancient Aliens, may have talked about it because that David Wilcock guy. But so, the Law of One is the comprehension of all things made of an intelligent energy and are a part of the one source. The Law of One is the sacred science of mechanics of Christ consciousness and the natural laws governing our universal creation. All one is the recognition that eternal truth is eternal love, and eternal love is the organic consciousness of infinite creator, or God. Eternal love consciousness embodies in a form in unity intelligence and simultaneously recognized as the inner light of Christ. Unity consciousness is at one with God, and unity consciousness ignites the inner light of Christ. The inner light of Christ, when actualized in form, is embodied of an eternal God-human. So that explains when the Bible says that we were made in His image, that we actually are God in flesh. I'm just saying, and people are going to take that and run with it, so whatever. So it says, and this is where, see, I don't see like religious people would be like, oh, there's an end to the world, blah. But I don't see it that way. So, by vibrationally stepping down through itself and contracting the consciousness into a singular point of focus which forms a creational intention, all of creation, from the unmanifest to the manifest forms, emerge from the conscious energy of the eternal God source, and ultimately all of these consciousness forms will return back into the center point of all union, reuniting all one. So that's what I was talking about by not believing about the end of the world. It's not like they taught us. I think religion was created, like it said in the beginning, to stray you from the truth. Thus, the eternal consciousness of God source resides within and around all of us. Each living being is the original manifestation of the intelligent consciousness unit that exists in the entire body of the God source, all one. The intelligent consciousness units, or the living God spirit that is alive in all things, is called inner Christ, which is built upon the universal natural laws. We can come to understand this through the reverence of all and through philosophies that are described as the Law of One. And they do fall under philosophy, so you can take it however you want. So this is cool. Emerald Founder Records. I never heard anything about this except for like maybe the Emerald Tablets. It does say some stuff that's pretty out there and off the wall, but it makes sense. Like the Emerald Tablets really resonated with me, so maybe that's what this is talking about. I don't know. So the Cosmic Founders promise to us was made with the Emerald Covenant that all souls in the fallen universe, which is here, we're the fallen universe, and it even talks about the fallen angels had, came to here, which is supposedly the fallen place. Satan was cast to earth for all eternity. You know what I mean? So it kind of fits. So we all are supposed to go back to our original spiritual home, and this was the original divine plan of spiritual ascension. The evolutionary journey through astrological ages and timelines, which would facilitate our way back home, to remember our divine purpose, and be reunited with God. So I'm going to go up here to negative alien agenda is what the NAA means. And I don't know if anybody, some of my people that were subscribers before all the chili stuff will know that I got into some pretty deep spiritual stuff around the time my husband died because of learning a lot of this stuff and realizing that what we've been told is not the truth. I went up here and I clicked violent religions. I want to see what that means. We all know they've been talking about aliens. We all know. That's what I was going to say. We all know. But it depends on what people believe, because I personally think we would be ignorant to think that we are alone in the entire universe, but that's me. Upon the invasion of the planet that transpired in stages since the Luciferian rebellion, the negative alien agenda was formed by the intruders to prepare the inhabitants of the planet to worship false alien gods. That part I truly believe, because I think we were programmed to worship Satan, which Satan could be the fallen angels, and the fallen angels could be aliens. See, I mean, just, you gotta open your mind. You gotta open your mind. Okay, so to enforce their patriarchal dominion in human culture, some false father archetypes were hand-selected by the NAA and showcased as patriarchal prophets for their violent religions. Through brainwashing methods, employing militarization strategy with technological mind control and predator mind, and their religions were downloaded into the planetary mind. Now, to take that in simple terms, that could be a bunch of people got together, created, say, a educational system or forum or something to learn, right? And they teach it over and over, and throughout the ages it becomes a program. See? So, through brainwashing methods okay, I already read that part. When the planetary mind was invaded, the collective race mind of humanity was forever changed. Over generations of religious programming, the truth of the NAA invasion was forgotten through consistent conscious wiping and recycling of collective soul body to earth. That would be reincarnation, so it would make you forget over a time. If you've been here for, like, if you've studied any of the ages, so, the astrological ages, when they say that we're like in the age of Aquarius, well, that's a 250,000 year cycle. So that would fit if you're talking about something like this, and you recycle so many times in that age, you're going to forget stuff. So this allowed the NAA ideology of killing, warning, persecuting, and torturing humans to run rampant on Earth, and for humans to believe that they are bound to a variety of insane religious rituals. Repeated rituals are emphasized in the Orthodox religion to mind control people into strict dogmatic beliefs mixed with an obsessive level of anxiety. Mind control implants are used to activate anxiety in the person if the ritual, prayer, or offering is not prepared to exact specifications. This is a form of indoctrination into their symbolism and religious interpretation. One may notice that in the religious zealot implant or the satanic ritual, the person's fear and anxiety feeds the vampiric entity. The entity then stimulates the binding to religious or ritual addiction to continue to generate energy from them. When a human mind is dogmatic, obsessive, and ritualistic, it shuts down and loses access to free and open thinking. So that would be, in nowadays terms, okay, pump a society full of drugs that they can easily get. Whether that be some, we talk about there's good cops and bad cops. Well, the good cops might not be knowing about bad cops putting drugs on the street to help people go further down that cycle, and then all of a sudden they lose their control to their freedom because they're gone, and it's happening to societies. Okay, so I'm just saying it's a suggestion. This is my thoughts. These are just my thoughts. Okay, no big deal. Okay, so dark portal, body, and altars. Remember sci-fi. Think sci-fi. Eventually, fear and rigid thought forms fragment the mind, and this may result in bipolar or manic symptoms, eventually generating multiple personalities called alters. When a mind is fragmented, the body is easily possessed as a dark portal. Each of the multiple personalities are bound to a version of the demonic entity or level of the hierarchy of the falling angelic force, which govern the alternate personality and manipulates it to siphon the person's energy. This is one way a dark portal is formed in a human body. Most organized religions were designed to prepare for the submission to the future, full-scale Earth invasion by these alien gods, if and when they could replicate the human genetic code. If they could replicate the genetic code and sustain life force, they could exist on the Earth without degeneration and decay of their natural bodies. They have instituted alien hybridization and breeding programs to gradually genetically modify the human body to be used as future receptacles for incarnating their races. Okay, so there's a lot of things you can take from that. Like, okay, so we have been messing around with the human genome. I mean, scientists put a human head on a goat years ago. So stuff like this is possible. You have to open your mind to the possibilities that we in our county, in our town, in our state aren't aware of because we're little bitty, We don't know everything that they're capable of. Sorry. Okay, so astral abduction in my lab. This stuff is getting deep. In the astral abductions during sleep state, or through military cooperation in my lab programs, they have proven that some of that stuff was true through leaked government documents. I could teach you some stuff if you guys don't believe me. Okay, so they genetically experiment with artificial intelligence and cyborganization of human genetics to help these extra dimensionals inhabit fully in the human hybrid body on the Earth's surface. If you don't believe in stuff like this, read the Bible about the fallen angels. That's all I gotta say. If you believe in that, but you don't believe this is possible, then you need to check yourself. This is similar to saying that the fallen angelics, it just said it, I didn't know I was going to say it, and their hierarchies that could not previously incarnate into the human body now have an ability to do that through accessing portals of the consciousness. Some of us will notice certain human bodies with black or descended eyes, or with no human energy aura. In many cases, these are dark portals for fallen angelics or galactic dark spirit possessions. When the body expires, the fallen angelic or galactic spirit consciousness will leave this earthly plane through that human body. Humanity was largely forced to accept violent religion and brainwashing by corrupted religion authorities to prepare human beings to submit to these alien false gods. Through bullying, threats, intimidation, over many generations, humans accepted violence and blood sacrifice as God's will. They also accepted stupefying levels of persecution, degeneration, degradation, and discrimination through being shamed, humiliated, and beaten down, to believe that they are not worthy of receiving spiritual knowledge or truth, and require a holy intermediary. See, people think they have to go through a priest or a preacher. You don't. It's right here. Right here. God's right here. No matter what you believe, God's right here. God's right here. Oh, I don't want to sound like other people. God's right here, though. Okay, so the discrimination through being shamed, humiliated, beaten down, to believe that they're not worthy of receiving spiritual knowledge through truth, and require holy intermediary. This intermediary is the alien false father God, which hijacked the direct relationship to the creative forces, elemental spirits of the earth, and interfered with the inner spirit of the human being. This is why most of all spiritual knowledge on this earth is demonized as the work of Satan and manipulated through fear in the masses. As long as humans are terrorized by the concept of gaining knowledge and truth, they will continue to flee in fear from that knowledge. Knowledge is power, and it is why the NAA prevents it from being made available. As an example, they are killing schoolgirls and women in Muslim countries who just want the basic right to educate themselves or to learn how to drive a car. All levels of open source information, knowledge, and education in the global population is under direct attack on the planet. This is the NAA directing this from their top-down chain of command. We may think it's human, but it's not. This is why we must make an effort to educate ourselves about the larger agendas playing out on Earth at this time. That's the point I've been saying to everybody about they want us dumbed down. This is why I say that. Because the intruder agenda is to control, manipulate, and siphon earthly resources, elementals, and all natural forces on Earth, all of these forces were intentionally demonized in religion as the works of Satan. Both early Christians and the occult have often divided up the evil spirits under fire, water, and air, and earth. This is to terrorize the average person indoctrinated into organized religion to run in fear for any sign or symbol that represents earth, nature, zodiac, alchemy, geometry, gender, or elements of creation. None of these elements are entirely evil or inherently evil. The intentional abuse of natural forces by fallen entities through satanic ritual is what makes them satanic, not their inherent design. It is important to discern the difference, as these natural forces and components must be returned to their rightful owner, as many of these creation codes belong to the Holy Mother Cathar body. Okay, so anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end that, but I will pick up some more tomorrow and read some more if anybody's interested. Let me know, like and share. If you think any of this information is helpful or you want to learn more, I will do more videos.